168 men against an empire of millions. No massive battle, no drawn-out war, just one meeting, in one city. Because in 1532, an emperor walked into a trap, and within hours, the Inca Empire began to collapse. Before the Spanish arrived, the Inca Empire was the most powerful state in the Americas. It stretched over 2,500 miles along the Andes, across modern-day Peru, Ecuador, Bolivia, and Chile. At its height, it governed an estimated 10 to 12 million people. But this was not a loose collection of tribes. It was a highly organized state. The Inca built thousands of miles of roads, stone-paved, engineered across mountains, valleys, and cliffs. Messages were carried by runners, known as chasqui, allowing communication across vast distances in days. They had no written language in the traditional sense, but they recorded information using quipu, a complex system of knotted cords used for accounting, logistics, and possibly narrative data. Agriculture was adapted to extreme terrain through terracing. Food storage systems allowed the empire to survive famine, and at the center of this system was the Sapa Inca, a ruler considered divine. When the Spanish arrived, the empire was not at full strength. A devastating civil war had just ended. Two brothers, Huáscar and Atahualpa, fought for control of the empire. The conflict was brutal. It divided loyalties, weakened central authority, and left the empire politically unstable. Atahualpa emerged victorious, but his power was still consolidating. His generals were scattered. His control was not yet secure. And crucially, he did not yet fully understand the threat the Spanish represented. When Francisco Pizarro arrived on the South American coast, he brought fewer than 200 men. But these were not ordinary soldiers. Many had experience from earlier conquests in the Caribbean and Central America. They brought steel swords and armor, horses, completely unknown in the Americas, early firearms and cannons, and most importantly, disease had already preceded them. Smallpox had spread into the region before their arrival, killing large portions of the population, including members of the Inca elite. This alone had destabilized the empire before a single battle was fought. Pizarro understood something critical. He could not defeat the Inca in open warfare, so he didn't try. He chose deception. In November 1532, the Spanish reached the highland town of Cajamarca. Atahualpa agreed to meet them. He arrived with thousands of attendants, unarmed, confident. From his perspective, this was a minor diplomatic encounter with a small foreign group. The Spanish hid in buildings surrounding the central square. They prepared an ambush. A Dominican friar, Vicente de Valverde, approached Atahualpa. He presented a Bible and demanded that the emperor accept Christianity and submit to the authority of the Spanish crown. Atahualpa rejected the demand. Accounts differ on what happened next, but within moments the Spanish launched their attack. Cannons fired into the crowded square. Horses charged into people who had never seen such animals before. Steel weapons cut through unarmed attendants. The result was not a battle, it was a shock event. Thousands of Inca were killed or scattered. The Spanish suffered minimal losses, and at the center of it all, Atahualpa was captured. With the emperor in their hands, the Spanish held enormous leverage. Atahualpa attempted to negotiate his release. He offered a ransom unlike anything the Spanish had seen, a room filled with gold, and twice that with silver. Over the following months, treasure poured in from across the empire. Objects of religious and cultural importance were melted down into bullion. This was not just wealth being transferred. It was the dismantling of an entire symbolic system. But once the Spanish had collected the ransom, they did not release him. In 1533, Atahualpa was executed. Officially, he was charged with crimes including idolatry and rebellion. In reality, he was too powerful to be left alive. His death created a vacuum. The Inca political system depended heavily on central authority. Without the emperor, coordination broke down. The Spanish moved quickly. They installed puppet rulers, advanced on key cities, including Cusco, and leveraged divisions within the empire to maintain control. Resistance continued, particularly in remote regions and strongholds like Vilcabamba, but the balance had shifted irreversibly. The fall of the Inca Empire was not the result of a single factor. It was a convergence of several: internal division from civil war, disease weakening the population, technological differences in warfare, strategic deception, and the capture of a centralized ruler. The Spanish did not simply overpower the Inca. They exploited a moment of vulnerability. It wasn't a war that ended the empire. It was a meeting, a decision, a misunderstanding of the threat. Because sometimes, history doesn't collapse slowly. It breaks, all at once.